Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey Jason, Dylan Mel, John Pauline, back at it again. Guys, we're starting to see things take shape. A lot of good teams in the National League, a lot of not so good teams in the American League, which is kind of fun when you support one of the only good teams in the American League, but it also makes you kind of have a little nagging feeling in the back of your head. Are they fraudulent?
What's it like supporting one of the only bad teams in the National League?
If they keep doing bad, I'm going to show up on the pod with a paper bag over my head.
I think I've only done that one time in my life, and that was the day after the Giants traded Odell. Walked into college, my college radio station wearing that, and I was.
And it might become full circle for you. By the time people are hearing this, Odell might be back.
That would make me thrilled. But let's talk right now about some news in the news. First off, kind of interesting, 3 ex-major leaguers, 2 of which I know I've heard of, one of which I can't say that I have, and I don't know if that's just not having ball knowledge or this guy just didn't leave a memorable impression. So they're competing at the U.S. Open qualifier for golf. Aaron Hicks, Tyler Clippard, and then, so I know those guys, both ex-Yankees as well. Shigetoshi Hasegawa.
You don't know him?
No, I'm not ashamed to admit that I don't.
This guy.
I know. But ex-major leaguer, plus a couple other sports notable names.
Aaron Hicks, when he swings the golf club, he's a switch hitter. Is he a switch golfer?
I'm sure he's capable of it, but he might pick a side, or depends on the lie. Depends on the
If he gets stuck behind a tree, but I mean, poor caddy, he's gonna have 2 golf bags he's got to carry then.
Actually, I believe that there's a rule on the number of clubs a golfer can take with them.
So he did have to pick a side,
or he might have 1 iron from the opposite side. I mean, who among us hasn't golfed and tried to hit from the opposite handiness? Oh.
To be fair, though, I haven't golfed. So you lost me there.
I've only ever been to the driving range.
I've done it once. I had to borrow my friend's club and it didn't go well, but I tried.
I don't know.
When you're up on a hill on the side of a bunker and you're left-handed and there's really just no way for you to actually hit the ball, you make decisions. It adds to your score, but decisions were made. Tony Romo, JT Miller of the Rangers, and Danny Woodhead, also some notable names in this qualifier. I think it's pretty cool. Hicks, always talked about as a great golfer during his time with the Yankees, and I'm glad took something out of that time in New York. A couple other injuries also I want to note. Max Scherzer, the Blue Jays, it just keeps happening to them. He's on the 15-day IL with right forearm tendonitis and left ankle inflammation. It just keeps getting worse for them.
Yeah, those are the 2 old guy injuries. I mean, right there, inflammation and tendonitis.
I don't know if we see another season in the Hall of Fame career of Max Scherzer.
I don't think so. To be honest, I think he only came back because Toronto was so close last year that he felt like this group could get the job done again. And not to say that they can't, but hasn't been a great start to the season.
It's kind of crazy how once Scherzer and Verlander both signed with the Mets, there was a very stark fall off in both of their careers. Like, neither had a good season.
The Mets ruined them. That's what you're suggesting.
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just connecting the dots.
Yeah. What's it? Maybe not causation, but correlation.
Exactly. The Mets didn't cause it, but, it did happen while they were in Queens. Now, Luis Gil of the Yankees sent down to AAA. He was
bad.
And then Jason Dominguez was recalled in his stead to kind of get some at-bats and replace Giancarlo Stanton, who is not on the injured list, but he does have some right calf tightness. They don't want to.
Tightness, inflammation, tendonitis, old.
Yeah, it just sucks because it's not like Stanton's running hard. He is running as gingerly as,
He
anybody.
stole a base this year, so I don't know if I could say completely gingerly. He did steal a base.
He did. He should have had two. I think one was charged as a wild pitch, but he's moving better than I think I've seen him do in a while. He was feeling good, but
Listen, long season.
it's a long season. I'm fine with this. It's nothing to
To
worry
be
about.
honest, I want to see Dominguez up here, one, just to kind of see has he improved, and two, we've talked about this. There's kind of a little bit of a log jam for some of these Yankee prospects, including Dominguez in a deal to get an MLB-ready player, especially with the AL as weak as it is. Could be a move come trade deadline. So get some people to get some eyes on him.
Absolutely, and he's killing it offensively in AAA. Defensively, not so much, but offensively playing really well. Travis Bazzana, the number one pick in the 2024 draft, is getting the call up to Cleveland. So by the time you listen to this, he will have made his debut with the Guardians. Pretty cool. Less than 2 years after being drafted, he's in the show.
Well, he's batting 287, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, 933 OPS this season so far in AAA. So
Yeah, he's ready.
he's ready. He's ready.
You know.
He's ready.
And hey, man, the Guardians at 15-15, but in a wide open AL, could be a huge spark for them.
Now, something that's been come to be known in some corners of the internet as the Boston Massacre took place the other day. The Red Sox fired Alex Cora and 5 coaches, losing a 6th one along the way. He was fired after a 10-17 start. The AAA manager, Chad Tracy, now takes over. They fired also their hitting coach, Pete Fates, their third base coach, Kyle Hudson, bench coach, Ramon Vasquez, assistant hitting coach, Dylan Lawson, MLB hitting and strategy coach, Joe Cronin, and then game planning coach, Jason Varitek, left as opposed to taking a reassignment to AAA, as was expected.
Cleaned house.
They cleaned house. I think this is a move as a Yankee fan I love. Thank you. Thank you for getting rid of a top 3 coach in all of baseball. Really just great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox are the team that I wanted to bring up in terms of my team of the week that we talk about opposite our teams. I guess I want to start by asking you guys the question, because, John, you had mentioned it last week about if the Phillies didn't play better, firing Rob Thompson. I think we've talked about Mendoza from the Mets. Boston was in a similar boat in terms of not playing well. But do we think that this was too soon to make this drastic of a move?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's kind of a bad look, especially after that kind of a blowout win.
Yeah.
Well, I think what makes it such a bad move is, Mendoza, not proven. Rob Thompson, not proven. Alex Cora is a proven good manager. And obviously, yes, there is the asterisk of some of his Astros teams. But we also saw him be successful. After that, we've seen him be successful with Boston. I would say last year was kind of an overachievement for where they thought they were going to be in terms of making the playoffs. And yes, they got off to a slow start this year, but the AL, as we mentioned, has all kind of basically gotten off to a slow start, and it's been pretty wide open. I think the Yankees got him fired. I think getting swept at Fenway by New York, and I'm not even just saying that as a Yankees guy. I think that genuinely was the nail in the coffin. I think they decided after that series they were going to let him go. They were just trying to work it out. And it just so happened that Boston put up 17 on Baltimore the day that it was decided. But I really think it was after that New York series that they thought that a change needed to be made, because getting swept at home by New York hits different.
I think we're at a crossroads when it comes to Fenway, when it comes to the Red Sox. I think in one way, if this works out, we're going to see a quick rebuild of the Red Sox, because Craig Breslow, consolidated power, because this, at the end of the day, to me, was a power grab, nothing more. I don't think Cora deserved to be fired. I think a lot of the shortcomings the Red Sox had nothing to do with him. They were given a terrible roster, one that had no depth in the bullpen, one that had no depth in the rotation. The one in the depth that they did get, I don't
Well,
believe
I
was
kind of disagree
enough.
about the rotation.
I don't think it was good enough.
I think it was plenty good enough to be a decent team. I mean, you start with Crochet, you had Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, Connolly Early is a young prospect that I think has actually pitched better as the season has gone on here. And you do have Brian Bayo as your fifth pitcher. I think you had plenty of starting pitching. Chapman was never going to be what he was last year. Out of the bullpen, it's mainly just Whitlock. So I could see what you're saying there that they need some additional arms. Ultimately, I think for Boston, we talked about worst case scenario for all these teams coming into the year. And Boston, the big reason that I didn't see them winning this division, which, we had talked about, could they win the division, is because the lineup was young and losing Bregman hurt. One, as a hole in the middle of the lineup, but two, as a leader in the clubhouse, and it was going to take time to figure out. I thought that this team had the potential to start slow and heat up as the summer months got going because guys like Roman Anthony, because guys like Marcelo Mayer, Caleb Duran, these young players started to find their roles and find themselves as MLB players over the course of a full 162. And I thought Cora was kind of the perfect veteran manager to get them to that spot that, yeah, April and May, this isn't a team that's on your radar as World Series contender, but by August, September, they could have been. And I think the trigger was pulled too soon here. Now, Boston has gone on to win 3 in a row, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know a lick about the new manager and the new coaching staff and their backgrounds and if these are the guys to develop this young talent. But I do think it's a big risk to move on from a guy who's proven an ability to develop a dynastic team.
I mean, the guy that they brought in was their AAA manager. He's the one that Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Tolley, they all were developed by. But like I was saying before, we're at a crossroad. On one hand, it could be good because you have the manager that got the most out of these young guys, and they should go full youth movement. When we see teams do that, it does tend to work better than, trying to substitute a lot of veteran presence in there.
You
On the
still
flip
need the
side,
veteran presence, though, because then
you
you kind of
do.
get what they have now
Yeah.
with they're leaning too much on Roman Anthony, and he's just, you get a noodle arm in the outfield from him. Because I'm just saying that's
he's
what
DH
happened.
now, but
That's what happened. They
have
rely
the veteran.
too much on Anthony, and they
They
needed
do
a veteran presence like Bregman.
Well, that's the thing. The Bregman Devers stuff, Cora and the front office have not been getting along for some time now.
I think what this did for Boston was change their timeline. I think with Cora as manager, the expectation was within this year or next year, they'd be vying for a World Series. I think we're almost at like a 2 to 5 year timeline now because you bring in a developmental manager, not expecting immediate results, I would assume. Like, you just brought this guy in from AAA. Like, he's got to find his own way in the major leagues. Like, I'm not saying Boston can't do it, but they're fifth in the AL East. They're 5 games under 500. Like, this isn't the year. At least it's not my expectation if I'm watching this team. My hope is that this team finds its way to 500 and maybe finds its way to sneak back to where they were last year as a wild card elimination. But where I feel like, okay, going into next year early, totally, like, these are great arms in the rotation. I love Crochet. Gray or Suarez, one of those guys stays around. And then Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, maybe Caleb Durbin, maybe Cedine Rafaela. Some of these other guys come along from the ride, and I know the nucleus. I trust the coaching staff. And next year we could try and win a division, and then maybe the year after that, these guys are fully developed enough to be World Series contenders. But to me, this pushes back the window to kind of more 3 years down the line.
Yeah, I'm ready to write the Red Sox off now for the foreseeable future because, one, you have an ownership that was
And
once.
there's nothing wrong with being the fun young team.
No,
it's just
there's
not
not.
where I thought they were going to be.
No, I thought they were going to win the division, be a strong World Series contender, but that was because I thought they had an experienced manager who could lift up a team and bring them to a level that they might not get to otherwise. But you have an ownership group and an owner in John Henry that once was, what you wanted out of an owner. They would pay, they would do anything to win. Now, I'm talking to friends of mine that are Red Sox fans, and the ownership does not want to support the team.
Sell the team. Sell the team. Sell the team.
They're focused on other things. The Fenway Sports Group, they're focused on their soccer teams and just their other properties.
I think they also own the Penguins, right?
I believe so, yes.
I believe they're part of that ownership group at least.
So the Red Sox are kind of falling by the wayside. The whole Devers debacle last year is directly connected to the issues we see here now, because you have Bregman, you have Devers, you get rid of Devers,
and you wonder if that's part of the reason Bregman left.
Yeah,
did he see this falling apart?
No, well, supposedly what happened was,
possible.
from what I heard with Bregman, though, was they went to the Red Sox and said, "Hey, we're getting bigger offers," and the Red Sox didn't believe that they were getting better offers, and then offered them, and then he just left and took the better offer.
Yeah.
So that's supposedly that's what happened. Like,
not that Bregman's having the best season currently.
No, but what he brought to the team last year is exactly what they're missing this year. And
he's batting 252 with 10 RBIs. It's not like it's the worst season ever.
No, and I think Cora was butting heads so much that it was either going to be Cora or Breslow, and the Red Sox farm system, top heavy. Anthony, Meyer, Tolley, Early, they're all up now. They don't have a very good system below that anymore. They made some pretty poor trades. Harrison for Durbin, namely, is one. Obviously, even dating back to the Mookie Betts trade, this is all connected. And this is the dismantling of what should have been a great long-term Red Sox core. Bogarts, Betts, Devers, they should all realistically still be on the Red Sox playing in Boston. And if they just decided to spend the money, the Red Sox would be probably competing with the Dodgers again for a World Series title instead of competing with the Phillies and the Mets right now for the worst record in baseball.
What a statement.
Am I wrong?
I'm not. No, I don't think you're completely off balance. I think the Red Sox kind of hit another version of the reset button. But you can only be the fun young team for so long.
Right. And right now, they're not the fun young team. They're the frustrating young team with a fan base that won't just roll over and say, hey, now we're young and fun. They're angry. They're not going to be the 2017 Yankees who were the fun young team.
Well, and it's like you traded for Crochet,
right?
Not with the idea of hitting a reset button.
Of course. Imagine what Kyle Teal would have. They don't have, great catching depth. Narvaez is a backup, in my opinion, and they have him and Wong as alternating starters. Imagine what a Kyle Teal would have been there. Like, the Crochet deal was unnecessary and probably sets them back a little further.
It was unnecessary if the timeline wasn't to compete now.
Right, exactly. And now that's not the timeline. The timeline isn't this year or next
year. And also
year.
their free agency moves. Sonny Gray, they spent money there. Ranger Suarez, they spent money there. Like, these guys, especially Gray, that's not a 2028, 2029
Wilson Contreras
viable starter. Yeah. So a lot of just re-looking back, you went as far back as Mookie, but you just look back on the last 24 months of Boston, and you're kind of like, what was the point of some of these moves?
It's like they changed their mind like halfway
through. They changed. They did. I mean, we just watched it happen, but don't be surprised if they're big-time sellers at the deadline. That's what
do they have to sell, though?
There's going to be a team that needs pitching that's contending. You could move Sonny Gray and Ranger Suarez. I think either one of them without an issue.
Didn't Ranger sign a pretty solid deal, though?
It is a long-term deal. I'm not saying like you should move him. I'm just saying you could if you wanted to. Sonny
I don't
Gray
know.
certainly. I think you could move. I mean, Jaron Duran. We talked about him last trade deadline. They, William Rayu, Trevor Story, Wilson Contreras. Like these are guys that obviously could be contributors
Yeah.
to high-end teams, and we'll see what kind of injuries happen too. Like ultimately, we don't want it to happen, but it's baseball, man. If the Atlanta Braves, if Matt Olson goes down for the season, I bet they become more interested in a Wilson Contreras. If the
Yeah.
Yankees were to lose Bellinger, they become interested in a Duran. If the Dodgers, well, they probably don't even need an injury. They just acquire talent left and right anyways. But
They'll end up trading for Crochet or something.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I just think that
just like
I just think there's a lot of different avenues where these teams could go. Maybe the Padres trade for Trevor Story and play him at second base. Or
Yeah,
they get
I mean,
Bogarts to play second.
they have moves to make. Another issue with the Red Sox is the lack of positional continuity. They're playing a lot of guys out of position.
Well, I think you're going to get this new manager. He's going to come in. He's going to see what's what, and he's going to have what he envisions the lineup being. And I wouldn't be surprised if he envisions a lineup where Jaron Duran just doesn't play. If he's like, hey, he looks at the Boston Red Sox lineup and is like, I actually want Roman Anthony to be playing in left field by the Green Monster, and I want Yoshida at DH. I don't really want Jaron Duran. And then Duran's just not playing. Like, that's a real possibility. He could say, hey, a guy like Isaiah Kiner Falefa, I don't really want him on my team. Move him. Like that is in the realm of possibility for where the Boston Red Sox are at currently. I think they're in muddy waters, and I think fans have every reason to be upset.
So we're ready to stick a fork in it, right? The Red Sox are done. It's over for this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did it.
So
if they stick to fork in it, like I'm not going to hold out hope.
Where we stand right now, over under 70 wins.
I still lean over. If you had told me 80, I might have gone under just because I do think they could be heavy sellers at the deadline.
Well, that's why I chose 70, because right now where we're at 70.
I still lean the over. I still think this is probably a 75, 76 win team.
I'm going to take the under. I think if the Red Sox really lean into what they're going, I think we're looking at what could be a complete.
I mean, they just won 3 in a row.
They did. I think we're looking at what could be a complete implosion of the team. I feel like the players could be losing faith with the front office. They're not going to be playing as hard because you're not giving them anything to play for.
I think these young guys still got too much to prove.
Yes, but then some of the veterans don't. You already saw the discontent they had with Devers and that type of thing. It doesn't just go away. It festers like mold. So you already had that in the back of a lot of guys' minds where the team doesn't have their back. The one guy that was consistent and did was Cora, and Varitek, who is a franchise legend that left the team. And it's not like they all left on good terms. This coaching staff and one of the greatest players in Red Sox history left on bad terms. And I think all that is going to affect how this team and its players are perceived internally. And that's why I think if they don't get out in front and start making moves to win sooner than later, this isn't just going to be something that, it's a window 2 to 5 years from now. Like, it could just all fall apart.
Yeah, that's fair.
But let's talk a little bit more, I'm not going to say positive, but different. Mets. Since last week, Mets 2-3, so a couple wins. Finally,
except a 3-game losing streak going into the podcast. So 2 wins, and then
by the Rockies.
I was trying to be a little for the Mets. They did take 2 out of 3 from Minnesota, 2-0 since the last pod. 2 wins, broke that losing streak. Great. Then swept by the Rockies. I'm getting a lot of doom and gloom texts. They look awful. They are 9-19. They're 2-8 in their last 10. 10.5 games back. Don't laugh, John. The Phillies are 10 and a half
I'm.
too.
This is the only thing that makes me happy is seeing the Mets do bad.
I said that to one of my friends who texted me that, that they're having so little fun. And I said, yeah, you can't even take solace. You can't even laugh that the Phillies are being bad. You can't enjoy that. They're 7 games back of the wild card. They have a minus 30 run differential, and they are considered 5th in the NL East, last place. Things aren't looking better. Things are looking worse and worse and worse. The only way to go up, you can only go up from here, right? Like, it can get better. It has to get better.
I mean, I've seen Francisco Lindor Yankees edits, as in him in a Yankees uniform. That's where Twitter is at with the New York Mets right now.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. I mean, yeah, like I would for sure.
Well,
I
tear
mean-
apart the Yankees too, be politically divided, and then you would
Nah.
have yeah.
No, because
So,
it's not
here's
like-
what. Yeah, listen, and here's the ultimate problem with the Mets. That isn't a problem with the Yankees, and it's not just a toot our own horns here, but there's just no leadership for the Mets. There's enough leadership and enough culture built up on the Yankees that one person's political views isn't enough to tear apart the team. Because I promise you, you look up and down that Yankees roster, they're not all viewing things the same way politically. If I had to guess,
And that's
And-
Aaron Boone, I think.
and I'd also like to say, for 29 other teams, I don't hear about politics driving their team apart. So it's not even just, oh, how good the Yankees are. But like, there's a lot of different baseball players from a lot of different walks of life. That's going to happen. That's going to happen no matter where you are and where you work. The fact that these guys maybe can't be professional enough and it just flips them apart like that is insane to me. Now, Lindor does what Lindor does in April. He sucks. That's just the bottom line. That's the player you're getting. That's what you know. Bo Bichette has come in and been pretty bad this year. 27 strikeouts right now, leading the team. Not exactly what you thought from a guy who was one of the league leaders in batting average last year. Juan Soto has been great. Small sample size, 13 games, but he's batting over 300. The Mets, yes, they won 2 games against the Twins, but getting swept by the Rockies, to me, they are still exactly where I thought they were last week. Bad. And I planted my flag a week ago, and I said this team's done. Fork in it. They're cooked.
It's so tough because the Mets on paper should be so good.
No, they really shouldn't be. I don't think so. I mean, like you look at the roster construction. I mean, they went out, you traded Nimmo for Simeon. You went out and got Bichette. You're like, we're gonna put him at third base. Never played before. We're not gonna get Polanco. I mean, you're relying heavily on young pitching.
Here's my analogy.
I don't know.
this.
Like, I
And
just
Corey's going to get mad at me, but in the pre-show we were talking about the Giants, and what I said to him was, I like the players they drafted. I'm not really sure the fit. That the Mets are the most extreme version of that it could ever exist. I like the players on their team. I don't get the fit. I don't get the fit of Bo Bichette at third base. I don't get you wanting Juan Soto to have to be one of your best fielders. I don't get not bringing in a first baseman and bringing in 4 second basemen. I don't get any of their roster construction. Now, listen, when we did our playoff predictions, I thought the talent would be enough to win enough games to get to the playoffs. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I called this, I know this, but we watched it. We've seen a 30 game sample size, and to me, that's enough to know this group of guys is not a good baseball team together, and there's not enough exuberant talent to outweigh the roster flaws with this team.
That's really what's holding them back, is that they are built so poorly. They're built on name value, not actual ability. And
I think a commenter pointed this out a couple of videos ago. Their clear plan was to get one of Tucker or Bellinger, and when that folded, they just threw a bag at Bo Bichette because they tried to slap a bandage on a boat leak.
Now, here's a hypothetical. Bo Bichette signed with the Mets, but he was very, very close with signing with the Phillies. Does the Phillies season change at all with Bichette? And are the Mets better off without him going with a younger guy like a Reamer at third or a Ryan Clifford at first base?
Well, I think the Phillies would have played Bichette at second.
Like a smart team would.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and listen, I don't know if you Bichette at second, Bryson Stott at third. I don't know if you're Bichette at second, Edmundo Sosa, Alec Boehm is still kind of your third base thing. I don't know how that would have worked out. Maybe a Stott trade happens, then the Phillies get some more depth. Like, I think a lot more things would continue to go that way. But I do think that the Phillies would be better off just having Bo Bichette than not having Bo Bichette to at least see. It's not like they're getting a ton of production from Stott or Bohm right now that it's like, oh, Bichette would have ruined this. And for the Mets, I think they would have been better off in the long term. I don't know if this year's team would have been better without Bichette, but I think letting a young guy develop into his role in that position of third base and seeing if Brett Beatty or somebody else could claim that as their spot for the future. And if not, then either attack it at the deadline and get a real third baseman or attack it in free agency this upcoming year and get a real third baseman. But now you're going to ride out this year with Bichette. You're not going to know if you have an option at third, and you're not going to know what to do with the money again.
Can the Mets realistically be sellers at the deadline because they don't really have much to sell?
Well, they certainly can because they have enough name value to sell.
I mean, Peralta's on a 1 year, like he would be like a rental.
Yeah, you could
basically.
easily move Peralta.
Move him.
Could they move Bichette in his contract?
Isn't there how many? What are the opt outs? Because I
think he can
there
opt
being
out after this
opt-outs.
year.
After every
Is it,
season.
is it
after
him
the
or
year.
them?
Him. 3-year
Ooh.
deal, opt outs after every year. He's getting paid like what, $50 million a year or something like that? 40,
He's
40?
getting 3 for 126, so 40.
So $40 million a year for 3 years, where he can opt out after each season. He brings.
That's going to be a tough guy to move because of him having the control, and with the season that he's having, you basically know he's just opting in because he's not going to get 40 million on the open market again. I don't know if you could move Bichette. I do think you could move Lindor if you really wanted to.
I don't know if Lindor is a in-season deadline trade. That feels more like a winter meetings off-season.
I'm just saying, could you move him? You could.
Yeah.
Could you move? I think you could move Polanco if you wanted to move Robert. I honestly don't think they do. Like I still think he's young enough that it'd be fine to keep him and like bench Robert and Soto as your outfield core. I think is like actually a fine way to go for the Mets. I actually don't think that that's a big problem. Can you get somebody to take Devin Williams? I don't know. But Peralta certainly could garner a good return, especially at the deadline when there's going to be a team that needs him.
What about a Senga?
I mean, he's not going to get a Peralta package, but pitching is key, and somebody will take a shot.
I do think that the Mets should, just like with that Verlander Scherzer year that we spoke about earlier, where that kind of fell apart and they had to sell, they should really look to do that because they were able to retool very quickly. And on the Mets and their inability right now to win, again, talking to friends that are Met fans, they all blame Stearns. Stearns is operating the Mets like the Brewers, except he doesn't realize that he has money and can go out and get the best players. He doesn't have to find the quick fix,
See, I mean, I disagree with that Brewers analogy.
Well, here,
I think that he'd be better off if he operated like the Brewers, to be honest with you.
Well, so like the Mets had a need at first base.
Yeah.
Instead of giving the money to Pete Alonso to play first base, you go and
you already had a first base.
You had one. You let him walk, and you brought in Polanco. That's a Brewers thing to let a guy like that walk, and to bring in a guy you think he can get in aggregate.
See, I don't know, man. Every time the Brewers let somebody walk, we say that, but they turn out to be right. And to be fair, like Pete Alonso's batting 200 with 3 homers right now. It's not like he's having some exceptional season in Baltimore. So I don't know if it's necessarily the wrong move for the Mets to have let Alonso walk because he's not having a good year. And obviously, it's still early on, so the verdict is out on that. I just think whether it was Pete Alonso or not, getting Jorge Polanco to be your first baseman wasn't the answer. We knew that at the time. Paying Bo Bichette to play third wasn't the move. To play second, that would have been the move. And I really do think at some point they have to just bench Simeon, move Bichette to second, and move Beatty to third.
That
Just to
trade,
see.
that Nimmo Simeon trade is going to haunt the Mets. You had a guy in Nimmo who was going to break all the Met records.
Which, by the way, because if you had Nimmo, Robert, or Soto could be your DH.
Yeah, with Benj in the outfield with that would be a solid outfield. You get Soto off his feet. Soto, who is going to have to be,
or you could rotate it. Soto
Yeah.
off his feet one day, Robert off his feet another day. Nimmo off his
Nimmo's
feet another
playing
day.
really well.
Yeah.
So they traded away Nimmo for whatever locker room reasons are rumored, true or not.
And then just don't sign Polanco and let Vientos develop it first.
Right. Or again, you have
the roster construction would have just made more sense with Vientos at first, Bichette at second, Lindor at short, Beatty at third, and Nimmo, Robert, and Benj in the outfield with Soto DHing.
You had Clifford, a good top prospect.
And by the way, these were that wasn't including us being the Mets should have made this. The Mets shouldn't have made this move and just stayed who they were. Nothing that we just laid out there was assuming the Mets could have negotiated this contract. None of that was assuming anything. Any player that we brought up there, the Mets already had. All we did was subtract moves that they made.
Well, here, not even that. Here, listen to this lineup. Just not batting order, just positionally. Mm-hmm. And this is if the Mets still made all the moves they did, these are guys that are under contract with the Mets. And tell me how much better this is and what they're running out. Catcher Alvarez, first base Clifford, second base Bichette, shortstop Lindor, third base Reimer, one of their top prospects. Left field Soto, center field Benj, right field Robert, DH Vientos.
I think having Jorge Polanco as your utility piece that you can play at second, at third, at first, at short, he can just kind of play anywhere in the infield is fine because injuries will happen. Even if you wanted to say, no, the Mets are trying to win now, Polanco at third, and don't call up the young kid, so be it.
Call him up. His ETA is already 2026. Just bring him
saying,
up.
If you were, hey, we're trying to compete right now at the beginning of the year, but right now at 9-19, go get the playing time for this guy.
Yeah, because if you're already there, you need something to jump start it. But with the way the roster has been constructed, it just seems so haphazardly in a sense where it's it seems like they wanted to win now, but they construct it in such a haphazardly way that it's it almost seems like should be pushed back.
And by the way, they don't have a leader on that team.
No,
they don't have a player leader. And for people who've listened to this for a while, I love Soto. I never wanted him to leave the Yankees. But what made him so good there was he was number 2. And this is something that happened to Garrett Cole when he first got to the Yankees. He was number 2 Verlander, and it took him a while to find himself as a number 1 on New York. I remember the Boston playoff struggles were a big. The struggle there was a big part of him becoming a number 1, but he had to go through it. There is no leader on this Mets team because it's been Lindor's team, but Soto's clearly the best player. There's not a clear captain.
The leader in that clubhouse was Nimmo or Alonso. And I feel like getting rid of both of them in the same offseason left a power vacuum that Lindor wishes he was capable of filling, but Lindor is not that guy. And Soto just doesn't care about being a leader. Yeah. Soto cares about his stats.
And maybe he'll grow into it. I'm not gonna let you just say he's not gonna care. He's still a young player and a long contract underway. But I think he has to grow into that role. And I think it's possible they have to move Lindor for him to grow into it.
Yes. I think you need to make it I think you just need to make it Soto's team. Now, Soto's never needed to be that leader. When he was with Washington, he didn't have to. He was the young kid. When he's with the Padres, he was just a hired arm. When he's with the Yankees, again, hired gun, but also it was Judge's team. He came into an already established culture
Yep.
with Judge and Cole and Boone. He didn't need to take control of the situation. He needed to do what he does best. Just do your thing, hit the
Mhm.
ball, play fine defense, take your walks, work at bats. Now he signed that big deal with the Mets. A pressure that he's never needed to feel is on his shoulders because this team, this franchise, put all their eggs in his basket. They are relying on him for the next decade and a half to be the guy that carries them to a World Series title. And I'm not going to say he's going to crumble to that pressure because I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's true. But I do think that he needs to find within himself the ability to be a leader and not just a follower.
And you package it all together with the general managing and roster construction, and that's why a team that on paper should have been a World Series contender or at least a playoff team is the worst in baseball.
Right? Like they're packaging a Bichette, right? Great player. Was he ever the number one in Toronto? No,
It's
it was
Vladdy's team.
Vladdy's team. So the Mets are compiling a bunch of not leaders, and they got rid of the
You're
guys
paying them a ton.
paying them a ton, and you're getting rid of the Nimmo, the Alon, the guys that ran the team. You know, you don't have the OMG Mets without Nimmo and Alonso controlling that clubhouse and creating that atmosphere. And you get rid of it. We've been hearing about Lindor's issues in the locker room for years with Jeff McNeil and the squirrel and the bets with the car. And just Lindor has had more problems in the New York media than he's had good seasons. Remember how he booed Met fans when they would boo him? He gave them the thumbs down. He wasn't happy with them because they booed him. He would just
As we're talking about it, I don't know if I want an infield of him and Jazz.
right.
What a combo personalities.
But that's why it works with the Yankees is Jazz is such a big personality that is able to shine in the Yankees corporate structure because
he's like a number 5 on that
right.
team.
They allow him to be himself because they don't need him to lead the team. But a Lindor who, again, has went and been combative with the fans themselves. Like imagine if an Aaron Judge or an Ohtani or a Fernando Tatis had beef with their own fans. And we've seen Lindor do that exact thing a couple years ago, you know, fighting with teammates, all this behind the scenes stuff. And that's why these issues that are supposedly out there seem more believable. You know, it's like the boy who cried wolf. You know, we're just not going to believe that he's innocent if all these other things have been proven true.
Yeah.
And so I think the Mets need to take a hard look at themselves and their roster because they should be good. Their fans deserve them to be good, but they're not putting themselves in a position to win. Now let's go to the Phillies.
Speaking of letting down your fans.
Yeah, because, you know, somebody here thought the Phillies were cooked before the season started, and I'm going to bring that up every week because
who thought the Mets were going to win, like go to the World Series?
Hey, we're done with
that.
No.
John, it says Phillies.
Give me a brotherly love's time.
I'm not going to let him hear let him sit here and do that without saying it in the back.
I mean, as a Phillies fan, it has to be difficult to not enjoy the Mets disaster because you're literally in the same boat.
I think you could still enjoy it.
I'm enjoying it. That's the only thing like I enjoy is like I see the Phillies last night. I go look at the Mets score. And I'm like, oh, they just lost a doubleheader to the Rockies. It's like, you know, that's nice. But I mean, they are just bad. I don't know what it is right now.
I know what it is.
A lot of it. Everyone's just not playing. Pitching's done. Hitting's done. Wheeler came back.
They have the worst run differential in baseball.
Yeah.
By far.
Since our last episode, they're 1-5. They went 0-3 versus the Cubs in that span, 1-2 versus Atlanta, 9-19 overall, 1-9 in their last 10, 10.5 back like the Mets, 7 games back on the wild card like the Mets, a minus 54 run differential, but they are 4th in the NL East for whatever reason.
I will say this: I'm 1 week away from saying it's over.
I'm
one more, and maybe they, grab it together and get in the playoffs. But I'm one more week away from saying this team has zero aspiration of being a World Series team left in them.
I mean, I'm ready to just call it already, almost, because it just feels
Please.
like they don't. I mean,
I'm willing to give it a week with Wheeler.
I can't even give it a week if they're just gonna sit there, especially if they keep Thompson, because like just the way. I mean, he's over here. He's benching Crawford against lefties when Crawford hit well over 300 against lefties in AAA last year. I mean, like it's just like I don't know. They're going back and forth platooning. They're platooning Stott and Sosa, but they're letting Boehm start, who's absolutely just. I don't know if it's the off-field stuff with Boehm this year with his parents, with the stuff going on where he fired his agent, suing his parents because
Who could have predicted the fall off of Alec Boehm?
I don't know if it's the off-field stuff. I don't know what it is. You have Wheeler back, and he pitched an okay game back for his first game back.
I mean,
it wasn't great, but for first game back after coming back from the injury,
here's what I'll say: Trey Turner is playing terrible. He's batting 230, and I feel like he's a worse fielder now than ever before. Kyle Schwarber, the 9 home runs is nice, but like I need better than 196 batting.
That's what he batted. That's just he's been a
no. That's not no. What's his contract? What's he making? No,
150. This is what he's doing. This is what he is
He's a designated hitter. Your job is to hit the baseball.
He never had high average.
No. There's certainly never having high average and not being able to bat over 200. I'm not asking for him to be a 300 hitter, but he needs to be up at the 240 mark. I mean, where was he last year?
Last year, I think he was higher. Last year is one of his higher average years because he batted at.
That's what he got paid off of.
Yeah, 240, and then the year before that,
248. Yeah,
and then needs to be back to that. And then the year before that, 197.
Yeah, well, he needs to be back up at the 240 mark.
I think it's the last 2 years. I think it's just I don't know if it's the World Baseball Classic because the last time the World Baseball Classic he stunk at the start of the season.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
Harper is the only one.
If you're supposed to be the player on a team, and your team can't score runs, and you're the center of the lineup, that's the problem. Bryce Harper, 260 with 6 home runs and 18 RBIs at this point of his career, you'll take that. Alec Boehm, trash. Brandon Marsh, team MVP right now, to be honest. Justin Crawford should play more. Adolis Garcia should play less. And Rafael Marchand should never see the field.
I agree with that. I don't know.
The backup catcher isn't even batting 100.
The fans love Marchand. They love him. I don't know why. Yeah, I thought he was terrible, but a lot of people like him. I don't know. I just think the lineup. I don't know. I feel like Schwarber should just move down the floor.
And it's also just a properly constructed lineup.
I feel like it's just
there's not a single contact guy on this lineup. I know Marsh is batting well right now, but Marsh isn't a 300 hitter. They don't have a single contact guy on this team.
No, and Turner is supposed to. But
yeah, but
he's not batting 300, and I just feel like they rely too much on power. This is what they live and die by the home run.
Yeah, and they're dying.
If they're not hitting home runs, they just can't do it, and they can't string hits together. They have a problem where they'll get a hit and then immediately they'll get a hit. It'll be 2 outs and then do nothing. I mean, the starting you have Nola being terrible. You have Luzardo pitching terrible. Even Sanchez is getting hit now. Nothing's.
I think he just had more so one bad game.
He just had one, and even his bad game wasn't even that.
And Wheeler was pretty good. I think Wheeler Sanchez 1-2 combo is fine. You need one of Luzardo, Painter, or Nola to come around. Honestly, the starting pitching doesn't concern me much. The bullpen's still pretty bad, but Duran will be back. It's just this is a team who. And maybe it's an overreaction because if this had happened kind of in the middle of July and they were already a good team, maybe we're not even talking about it. But I just have a hard time believing this philosophy is going to pan out. And to be honest, you are saying fire Rob Thompson.
They got a clean house.
It's not going to change the roster.
I know, but I'd rather if you're going to give up, I'd rather just because if it's not going to happen, just clean house, fire him.
I just don't think you fire Rob Thompson until you've given up on the season. Because
think
firing him means it's like you just want somebody to come in and play the young guys, which means the season's over.
The Phillies sold their soul for that World Series berth.
Well, it's just Rob Thompson manages way different than he did when he first came up. Essentially,
Was Castellanos the reason this team was good? I think when we need to
was
start
right.
asking.
I mean, what's the opposite of a bandwagon? Because that's whatever I'm on. And there's room for you guys to hop on as well.
In terms of what? Like rooting against the Phillies?
No, just knowing that it's over. Like,
I mean, John sounded like he knows it's over.
It's not looking good, man. Like it's not looking
the
good.
future also doesn't look.
They were
bright.
just so good the last 5 years that, like, the thing is for me, like, it's easy for me to be against the Mets because they've just kind of been, like, aside from OMG Mets here, like, this is what the Mets have been. Pay a lot of money to guys that don't fit and play bad. The Phillies have been rolling out this team, and it gets got every year in the playoffs, but it has a track record of over 162 being productive.
No, this is the dark years are starting again.
And I'm just not ready to say that they can't turn it around because this team could just as easily look like last year's Phillies and go on and win.
Well, they got to show it soon.
Straight.
Like they just got to show
I know
it
they
soon.
have to show it
like
soon, for sure. I'm just
in,
saying, like, it's the same collection of talent who was good last year.
But another year older, and like John was saying, they rely so much on power, they can easily go on a 2-week stretch where they win almost every game in that span.
Yeah.
Get that run differential back down to something palatable. And then, we're talking about them more positively, but at some point,
don't get me wrong, they're not good. I don't think they're going to win the World Series.
I mean, Harper is one of the only ones, one of the biggest producers on the team.
But is Harper playing at the level that, a World Series contender would need their best player to be playing at?
But hold on. Is he supposed to be their best player? Because I'm under the impression with the way that the money has just talked that it's supposed to be Kyle Schwarber.
True.
Because to me, Bryce Harper should be alternating between second and third with Trey Turner. He's clearly number 2 right now. But where the money has gone to this team in terms of batting, like bats in the lineup, Kyle Schwarber is supposed to be the main producer for this team.
And then we're getting people talking about Kyle Schwarber potentially being a Hall of Famer because of the home runs, but those aren't coming right now.
I mean, he's got 9.
He's got 9, but they're not coming, I guess. Let me rephrase it. They're not meaningful. They're not helping the team win. They're just...
No. Well, the guys in front of him aren't consistently getting on either, but...
Well, this is why I think he should be moved down to
This
4th.
is why I'm saying, like, Schwarber batting 240 would mean that there's more productive home runs.
John, what do we need to see from the Phillies to not rule them out? Like, what do we think the next couple weeks need to show?
They got to start winning series.
Like, I mean, they have to. Yeah, they have to go 2 of 3 in at least the next 5.
They're playing
series.
coming up. They have the Giants coming up, the Marlins, and the Athletics. And if they do, like they have a 4-game series against the Marlins. And if they want to,
in those next 10 games, the Phillies need to win 7 of them.
Yes, and they especially against the Marlins. Like they can't be dropping games against the Marlins.
Is it in Miami or in Philly?
It is in Miami, which does not bode well historically for them. Because even because it doesn't matter. No matter how bad the Marlins are or how good the Marlins are, the Phillies can never beat them.
Nope.
It's just I don't know why. It's just a thing, especially in Miami. Just
let's talk some positivity. How's about that, Dylan? How you feeling as a Yankee fan right now?
Hey man, 19-10. What is it? In their last 10 games, they're like 9-1, 8-2. It looks like. Feeling good. Aaron Judge is starting to bat pretty good. We can go on about the team. It's kind of just a lot of the same as last week. Plus 49 run differential. Clearly the best in the AL. The next closest is the Detroit Tigers at plus 10. So just far and away, when you look at the numbers, the Yankees are the top team in the American League right now. I don't think there's any disputing that. The lineup is pretty hot. Ben Rice looks like an all-star caliber player. Aaron Judge is starting to find his stride, which, it's not like Judge was terrible, but he was batting 230 the last time we talked. He's up to 252 now. Jazz has been getting better, 3 homers since the last show. Bellinger's still playing pretty decent. Caballero really making a push to keep that shortstop spot over Volpe right now. So the lineup's doing good. Pitching's doing good. Max Fried right now is in contention for AL Cy Young, if I'm being completely honest. 209 with 4 wins this year, 1 loss. Schlittler with 177, Will Warren 259, Weathers 321. This is a team that's getting Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon back ASAP, and I think Weathers will play out the bullpen pretty well. Him or Warren, if we're being honest. So, riding high. The one thing that I'll say, we talked about a little pre-show, is the Yankees seemingly have found some juice with Aaron Judge batting third in the lineup and being surrounded by 2 lefties, Ben Rice, Cody Bellinger. With Stanton out, this change has been made.
By the way, he's officially on the injured list with a right calf strain.
Okay. I think even when he's back, this should remain. I think Stanton should bat 5th after Bellinger, Jazz at 6th, and then you figure out the rest there. But like Trent, Ben Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Chisholm, and then, whether it's Volpe, Caballero, I'd have, Wells somewhere in there, McMahon, whichever way it all works out, those guys will be 7, 8, 9. But I know Aaron Judge doesn't like batting third, but the team went to the World Series the one year he did. They now have another powerful lefty hitter in Ben Rice. I'm not going to call him Juan Soto, but the production is there from another lefty bat.
Juan Soto light because he's doing what Soto did.
The opening of his year has been Juan Soto-esque numbers. He leads the team in batting average at 322. He leads the team in RBIs at 23. He, leads the team in hits, leads the team in OPS, leads the team in WAR. Like, he is the MVP of the team thus far to open the season. He is going to get premier batting, as he should. And of your 3 best hitters, 2 of them are lefties. Judge, you're the righty. Putting you in the middle makes the most sense.
Now, there's one thing I have that's giving me reservations about the Yankees, and that is their record against teams with a winning record. How many wins off the top of your head would you say they have against teams over 500?
I know that the thing is that I know from reviewing their schedule, I don't think the beginning of their schedule is tough, especially because some of the teams that were going to be tough, like Houston, just aren't good. They have 19 wins. I don't know, 7.
The Yankees have 1 win against teams with a winning record. They're 1-5 against teams over 500. Now that's partially because they play who's on their schedule. Teams that we thought would be good weren't.
Who were the teams that they played over 500? Tampa, who swept them, and the A's?
Tampa and the A's.
Yeah. Okay. So and that all came in a back-to-back stretch where they were pretty cold. That was a 5-game losing streak there.
Right. They've played again, just to rehash, I guess, their schedule since we're early enough. They've played the Giants, who swept, but we expect them to be a middle of the pack team. Seattle, who we expected to be great, they took 2 out of 3. Then they took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins, who are pesky but nothing special.
We expected them to be bad.
Yes, the A's we expected to be okay.
I mean, some people had them winning the AL West.
And you know what? They're right now winning the AL West.
Yeah.
The Rays, they were swept by the Rays.
The Rays, who we all gave up on, so now they're good.
And they have the second best record in the American League, a game and a half behind the Yankees. They played the Angels, who nobody believes in the Angels anymore.
Yeah, but Mike Trout was on a heater, so they split that series.
The Royals, who
swept.
They swept.
People thought they'd win the division.
Yep. The Red Sox, they swept, and some people thought they would win the division.
Yep.
The Astros, they took 2 out of 3, and some people thought they'd win that division.
Yeah. So, and now they're 1-0 versus the Rangers.
But even looking forward at their schedule, Baltimore, the Rangers again.
Milwaukee, that's a big test.
Milwaukee's a big test. Baltimore. Honestly, the Mets could.
I mean, the thing is, the AL sucks right now. So when you look at all these AL teams, they don't look scary.
No,
But
like,
I think by the end of the year, Seattle's probably going to be a good team, and you're going to be like, "Hey, that Seattle series, like that was good stuff from the Yankees." I think the Rangers, based on what I've seen from them, are going to be a good team. Them winning a game against them is going to be a good showing.
Yeah.
So
it's just tough to crown them right now. And I know a lot of people felt this way last year, where the Yankees had a pretty sizable lead, and we were ready to say, "Hey, they win." Then the Blue Jays came out of nowhere.
yeah,
Now I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to do that again. They need to get healthy first. But the Rays, the Red Sox, I think we're writing off. We're done. They're cooked. The Orioles aren't like out of it yet. The Orioles are
out of it when the season started.
The Orioles are 13 and 15. They're only 5.5 back.
Yeah, their roster construction is just so bad.
The Yankees, I just need them to tread water because the AL is so bad. I can't.
I do think it's worth noting, like the Yankees are 19-10, and Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger have been fine, but they haven't been special. And Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon haven't pitched a ball this game or this year. And don't get me wrong, like Warren has done better than expected. Like you hope that Rodon or Cole could come back and have a 2.3 ERA, but I'm just saying, like some of their best players aren't playing to potential or haven't even played yet.
Yeah. The Yankees, again, they're 19 and 10. They have one of the best records. The only teams with a better record are the Braves at 20 and 9, the Dodgers at 19 and 9. The Padres are right there at 18 and 9. And the Reds,
better win percentage from the Padres. The Reds don't have a better win percentage.
No, but the Reds are right there with them at 18 and 10.
Yeah.
And then the Rays would be the next best in the American League at 17 and 11.
Yeah.
So the Yankees are right up there, and it's just the American League is so weak that they just need to keep.
But this is what happened when they went to the World Series 2 years ago as well. So,
and I feel better about this team and the National League, where I don't see any world beaters. The Dodgers aren't what the Dodgers have been.
Well, I agree to disagree. I just think the Dodgers in April aren't as scary as the Dodgers in September.
The Dodgers in October are one of the most terrifying things out there. But right now, they're not. So we'll just have to see, just beat who's on your schedule, and you'll be okay.
Yep.
I do want to talk about the Twins. Twins, 12 and 16. They are 1 and 9 of their last 10. But bear with me, that 1 and 9 doesn't
seem 2 and 8 now. They got to win tonight.
Okay, 2 and 8. They are about 2.5 games back of their division.
3.5.
3.5 now. They are in a competitive spot.
Yep.
They are roughly 3 games back. They're in third place in the AL Central. They have lost 5 in a row prior to today.
Mm-hmm.
They had, coming into today, a 0-run differential. Do we think that the AL Central or a wild card berth is in play with how weak the Central and the American League is? Or is this just a semi-okay April compounded with a bad April for everybody else, and that by the end of May we'll be writing the Twins off, that they won't even be competitive? Because right now they are kind of in the thick of it.
I don't believe in the Twins. I think that Detroit and Cleveland will be the only 2 playoff teams at the Central. And maybe not both of them. But I think those are the only 2 teams that I believe have a realistic shot.
Now, do we see the Twins move off of a guy like Buxton at the deadline then?
I think it depends on how bad they are. If they're kind of at the same version of where they are now, where they got about a 45% win percentage, probably not. They probably just see if they can make a run in the second half of the year. I mean, similar to what the Guardians did last year.
But if they are, a bottom 3 team in baseball, bottom 5 team in baseball,
I think they sniff around, but they've never been a team to be hyper aggressive buyers or sellers, at least not in recent memory. So I think if they get a great offer for Buxton or a great offer for Royce Lewis, we could see it. We've heard Joe Ryan's name come up in trade talks previously. I think that's kind of the most interesting one, and that's probably the best haul that they would get. But we'll see. I've lost faith in them being anything but mid.
I think that the Twins probably aren't going to compete. I just think it's fun that they are. And I think although they did have a bit of a losing streak and they snapped the Mets losing streak, they can be a fun team. Again, you have a Royce Lewis, a Byron Buxton. You have some interesting players. Whether you trade them, again, a Joe Ryan, that remains to be seen. But right now, they can hang their hat that they are in a position where they could go on a run and, be a wild card or a division winner if the other teams stay just as bad. And the other teams haven't shown that they're better than the record is. They haven't shown much life. And I think that's just the state of the American League right now, where a team like the A's are leading their division, a team like the Twins are, being competitive. And I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk about, John?
The Rays. You mentioned them a little bit earlier when you were talking about the Yankees, and they are doing pretty good. I think they're like you said, they're in second place,
17-11.
17-11, and I believe they are like the next team. The Orioles are 5.5 out at third.
The Rays are on a
there.
5-game win streak as well.
Yeah. So the Rays are a game and a half out, and the next team up in the AL East is the Orioles on 5.5 out. You got Blue Jays 6.5, Red Sox 7. So, and I mean, I don't remember. Did you have a Corey like where we had the Rays, finishing here?
Fifth.
I feel like fifth, like most of us. Like it's like
all
of
us, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like
we all had the Rays finishing in last.
That's what I said. We finally gave up on them,
but we all said the Rays now a 500 team.
Like you finally give up on them, and they somehow find themselves
they just do what
in
the Rays
mix
do
again, dude. Like they have like the fifth best ERA with I think fifth best batting average at team batting average at 258, middle of the road team ERA at 4.36. Like I don't know. I mean the team. I think
they're going to be a playoff
Diaz.
Team.
They might. I mean, like, are they a playoff team?
I think they're going to be with the way that the AL is shaping up. Like Yandy Diaz is a quality player. Same with Junior Caminero. Chandler Simpson's become one of the most fun players in baseball. Aronda's a nice power bat. Like the pitching that you're getting, like Matz has a 4.31 ERA, but leads the team in strikeouts. Nick Martinez 2.1. He's looked really good this year. Rossman and McClanahan have been solid, and I don't see why this can't be the case. They have a good bullpen, too. Griffin Jackson, that bullpen, is a player that me and Corey have wanted on the Yankees forever. And he's in Tampa. I mean, not doing that great right now, but a player that I do like to potentially bounce back and start doing better for them. The bullpen is a little worrisome as I'm looking at it a little bit further here. But with how bad the AL is and how good the Rays just are being this kind of team, I've learned my lesson from betting against them.
And if you look at their team, a lot of them is just a lot of the players, like they're splitting time and platooning a lot of the players. Like
if only the Mets could just learn how to be the Rays. They would win. They'd be the Dodgers.
It'd be scary, that's for sure.
It'd be the Dodgers, could spend money and play good baseball.
It's just because I just every year because the Rays never really spend money, but they're always there. I mean, you have Yandy Diaz batting over 300.
Yeah, 327.
It's just.
Chandler Simpson's batting 309.
Yeah,
and
Camanero's not far
9
behind.
Stolen bases right now.
Yeah, you have Nick Fortes and Chandler Simpson and you have all these other guys like high batter. I don't think they have a ton of at bats, but they're hitting the ball when they're up.
Yeah, they're a team that just plays the game the right way, man. They are a white slot wide receiver in the NFL. Gritty, plays the game the right way.
I think this is like what a baseball team is. Like you look at on paper, like nothing special, but they really grind out at bats and just will get wins.
Yep.
They're going to be a pain in the butt all season. Now for some studs, duds, and rookies. For me, my rookie of the week, Sam Basallo of the Baltimore Orioles, their catcher. 4 games, 13 at-bats, 7 hits, 2 homers, only struck out twice, 2 RBIs, hitting .538 over the last week with a 1.648 OPS. I feel like we've talked about him before.
Yep.
He has been in my consideration for Rookie of the Week before, and he's having a very, very good season, and a big reason why the Orioles are staying afloat.
Yeah, my rookie, we've talked about him, I think, almost every week, but it's Murakami. 3 more homers in the last week. The man is on pace for 42 home runs his rookie season. I
And the
saw
fact
that
no one
stat
wanted
today.
to sign him.
Yeah, nobody
It's
wanted
like-
to sign him.
The Mets could have had him. The Mets could have
The
had
Mets
him.
could have had him at first base. 42 homers on pace for in his rookie season. I saw that. That was just outstanding to me.
I got Cardinals left fielder Nathan Church, 1.482 OPS, 421 average, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs this last week with 8 hits.
Yep.
So, I mean, really solid player.
Now, my stud this week, Colorado starter Chase Dollander, 1-1 in 2 games. One of them was a start. He had 13 innings pitched. He's got 16 strikeouts, a .69 ERA, a 178 batting average against. Great showing for the Rockies' top prospect, and one of the few guys that can pitch well in Colorado. The dud for the week for me, Pittsburgh pitcher Carmen Mlodzinski. He went 0-2 in 2 games started, 8 innings, pitched 11 hits, 10 runs, 9 of them earned, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts, and a 10.13 ERA.
Love to see that. Double-digit ERA always means you're doing something right. My stud, Giants right fielder Jung-Ho Lee. The man has 12 hits and 21 at-bats right now. He only has 1 strikeout over the last week as well, so really just seeing the ball well. 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, only 2 RBIs. I think that just kind of goes to show what the Giants are right now, and a 1.496 OPS over the last week. The man's just clearly producing at a very high level. My dud, even though the Atlanta Braves are playing great baseball, Austin Riley himself is not. 2 for 22 in the last week. They're both doubles to his credit and only 4 strikeouts. So I do think that there's strong potential for him to turn it around, but a .091 batting average is not going to get it done for this team for the long run.
My stud, first baseman, for the Spencer Torkelson, 1.707 OPS, 409 average, 5 home runs, and I believe they were in 5 straight games. So he had 5 home runs in 5 games, 6 RBIs, 9 hits. I mean, crazy good production. Got the power. My dud, who was a big signing for the Giant, one of the Giants' big free agent signings, shortstop Willie Adames, .0990 OPS, .045 average, 1 for 22. 10 strikeouts, and he's only batted .207 on the season with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. So,
He's the reason my stud doesn't have more RBIs.
Yeah.
Now, moments of the week. My moment, Nico Horner and Dalton Rushing, Cub, Dodger. They both challenged the same pitch in the same at-bat. It was a 3-1 count. Now, the pitch on the field was called a strike, but if it was called a ball, they both kind of reacted and tried to challenge it right away, because if it was a strike, a ball would have meant a walk, scores a run and ties the game up. So they were both trying to prevent that, and they just reactionarily did it. And since the pitch on the field was called a strike, it went against the batter. He was wrong. It was upheld. But it's kind of funny that they both just, without even following what the umpire said, just tapped their head. They wanted to challenge it because it was such a pivotal moment in the game, and it was only the 2nd inning.
Yeah, that's a real interesting one. I think you got the best moment of the week, but I went O'Neal Cruz home run off the top of the foul pole in Texas. O'Neal Cruz once a month does something that you somehow have never seen before. I don't think he's the best player in the world, but he always does something that you've never seen before, and a home run that scrapes the top of the foul pole is really, really.
You see,
really
it left the
stuff.
mark. They showed you see the picture of it left the mark on top of the ball. You can see where the ball hit.
Yeah.
My weekly moment, Mexico City series, Diamondbacks, Padres. Diamondbacks down, 7th inning, losing 7-2. Talos comes up, hits a grand slam, 7-6. Gurriel comes up, doubles. Now it's 8-7, and they end up winning 7-12.
It's crazy. That's fun, and it was marketed so poorly, the Mexico series.
I forgot it was even happening until I started seeing stuff like little clips online.
Yeah.
At one
Great
point,
marketing.
it was like everywhere.
They,
At one
they
point,
got to
it was,
hire
like,
the
weird.
NFL's marketing team because let me tell you what, I already know the Cowboys and Ravens play Week 3 in Brazil.
Now let's highlight some series. For me, I'm going to do Cleveland at the A's. That's a matchup of two first-place teams at the moment. So that's just fun. How often are you going to get to say that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I went Dodgers at Cardinals. The Cardinals, 2 games above 500, kind of a surprising year for them. Dodgers coming to town. We'll see how legit they are.
Mine's Reds at Pirates. You got the Reds in first place, Pirates in third, 2.5 games behind here. So, I mean, just some NL Central fighting here, which is, and the NL Central has been looking really good. So,
It's the only division in baseball where every team has a record above 500.
yeah, and I feel like even for the past couple of years, even when they were doing bad, it was still really fun to watch because
Like
there's
the
just so
Brewers are
many
in
young
last at
players.
14 and 13.
Insane.
Yeah, 4 out of the 5 teams have a positive run differential. The only negative being the Cardinals at a -15.
Yeah, minus 13 after today. But it is interesting, to see. That's why series highlight Dodgers Cardinals. Can the Cardinals keep it up, or are the Dodgers I could see it going either way, where the Cardinals win 2 games out of that series, or the Dodgers just clobber them and win the series 3-0, and the run differential was plus 20 in favor of LA.
And then you see the Cardinals just kind of spiral after that, after
Yeah.
running into a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Could be a pivotal turning point in their season for sure.
Any other things to add for the last week in baseball?
Oh, I forgot to talk about Phillies getting rid of Taijuan Walker. It's finally over. I forgot about that, but I was so caught up in how bad they were. I forgot the shiny moment. The Phillies finally did it. They did it. They got rid of Walker.
I remember sending you that
I
text.
know. Yes, I was
because it happened so early in the week after we recorded. And
it happened on
we
Thursday. I think,
talked
or it might have
about it.
happened that Wednesday.
I shot it over because I saw it and I was like,
Yeah.
I got to send this over to John.
Yeah, I feel like I forgot about because it almost felt to me like it happened so long ago that it wasn't like.
I was really hoping after that the Phillies would go on a 5-6 game win
Yeah,
streak.
Wheeler
just
comes back.
to
and they just
blame that it was
It's
him.
just-
It was just Taijuan Walker's presence.
I mean, they did win 1 game against the Braves. So the losing streak broke. I mean, and now they're on a new one, but I mean, they broke the.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot about that. I had to put that in there.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yes,
Just hope that they don't bring him back if they need pitching help.
please no. At that point, the season's over.
Let's hope they don't. But for Dylan Mel, John Pauline, Corey Jason, we're signing off for the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast.